Hey, it's the video you've all been waiting for. We finally get the 73 Volvo 142 running, start breaking in the engine. A few hiccups along the way, take it out for a cruise, and take it to a car show. So hope you enjoy, follow along. Hey there, welcome back to the garage. Today, I think, is the day. We are going to try and get the Volvo buttoned up here and try and do a first start. Let's get started by adjusting the valves. Adjusting the valves on a pushrod motor such as this one means turning an adjustment screw on the rocker arms where they meet the push rods. This adjusts the gap between the other end of the rocker arm and the top of the valve. It is important to set this correctly. Too little gap and your valves won't close all the way, too much gap and they'll clatter loudly and cause excess wear. You have to make sure the valve you are adjusting has no load on it, so you rotate the engine by hand to specific points to make sure it's in the right position. You can start at cylinder 1 top dead center and adjust both cylinder 1 valves, then rotate the crankshaft 180 degrees to the next cylinder, number 4 in our case, then repeat. It'll take 2 full rotations of the crankshaft to adjust all valves. There is another method called the 9s method, but I personally have not had good luck with this method and find it easy to lose track, so I stick with the traditional method. After that, we put spark plugs back in, the valve cover back on, reinstall the cam and crank angle sensor in place of the stock distributor, and install the ignition coils. And that finishes up all the mechanical pieces. The car is outside. This is a big moment. I'm nervous. I'm just kind of going through, checking off everything. I'm going to spend just a couple minutes with the laptop and just make sure all the settings are good. When it's running, I've got to get it up to 2,000 to 2,500 RPM and hold it there for 20 minutes. Here we go. All right, we had one false attempt, but I think it was because the crank angle sensor was on 180 degrees. So I've got that flipped back around. We'll try it again. All right, battery seemed low, so now we've got a jump pack on it. Tried advancing the timing. I don't know, we'll try something. about 5 minutes of runtime on it so far. I shut it off because the coolant temps are reaching close to 230. Don't really want it to get that hot. It's possible there's just an air pocket somewhere in the cooling system. Maybe this fan isn't quite keeping up, but I'm just gonna let it cool down for a little while, and then we'll come out here and finish the break-in. All right, camshaft break-in is complete. I should change the oil before driving it, but let's just take a listen real quick. It'll still need a little tuning because it's all set up for the old engine, different compression ratio, different cam, you know, different header, a lot of different stuff, but it's idling pretty good. I'm pretty stoked. So I'm gonna have to get some more break-in oil and swap this out. And then the next couple weeks here, we'll take it on a couple nice long drives, get the rest of it broken in and the tune dialed in a little bit more. There we go, camshaft broken in. Pretty exciting to have it this far along and to know that we're past that hurdle. Only issues that we had were the valve covers leaking on the backside, which has been an ongoing thing with this valve cover. I think it's just a bad casting. So I've got to decide, do I want to get a different one or do I try and make this work somehow? Not exactly sure. The gasket ends up getting kind of squished sideways. Draining the oil out while it's still warm just to make sure we get all of the particulate out and it doesn't settle in the bottom of the pan. We'll put some fresh break-in oil in it and go driving around. All right, it's been a few days. This thing's had a good chance to cool down, of course. We topped off the coolant because it did drop. You know, as you first fill up the coolant, it's gonna kind of expand and release any air that's trapped in the system, and when it cools down, it kind of draws the reservoir down, filling the rest of the system. Removed the valve cover. I've got to take the rockers off and torque the head down. And then I've also got to address this gasket. It did not fare well. Apparently I over tightened it, which caused it to split and start just gushing oil. Didn't seal very well on the backside here. So it was pouring oil out. There's actually like kind of whole sections just missing, which is crazy. Got some rubber gaskets from IPD that we're going to be putting on here instead of the cork. I've had a hard time. I think I just tend to over tighten these. And this aluminum valve cover from VP, they said to use the cork gasket, but obviously it's not holding up great. So we're gonna get this cleaned up. We're going to use some sealant, just some high-tack gasket sealant, and apply a new rubber gasket to that valve cover. Retorque the head, readjust the valves, and then put oil back in it. You don't have to watch me do all of that. I'm gonna skip a few things, but I'll bring you back in when it's interesting. Now it's time to fill this back up with some break-in oil. One of the things I learned from last time is you can pour this in faster than it can drain out of the head. Partially because these just have a pretty wide mouth on them. So I'm gonna try and just do one and give it a little bit of time between. Well, some bad news. We're leaking all around the gasket already. Well, I tried snugging it down a bit more on this side and put another bottle of oil in, and it just started leaking back out. So again and again, time to pull the valve cover back off and see why it's leaking. It was leaking along this side, and I can see both here, you know, it's not really attached. Here, it's not really attached. And I don't know if it's getting tightened down and kind of puckering under like that. I'm getting halfway tempted to glue the gasket to the head instead of the valve cover. Well, that's gonna do it for tonight. I think I got the valve cover leak fixed. I kept trying to glue the valve cover gasket to the valve cover and then drop it on. The couple things that I think were working against me is I have studs on here for the valve cover, and sometimes they would catch the gasket and kind of tweak it. The other thing too is just trying to maneuver the valve cover around. There's a heater hose on the back side. The valve springs get pretty close. So I think there's just a lot of stuff that could kind of knock it out of alignment. The valve cover itself doesn't have like a real thick flange on it either, and it kind of has a groove, which I think will be fine once it actually kind of seats itself. But before then, it just kind of allows the gasket to rock. So what I ended up doing is I put the gasket on the cylinder head first, just lowered it down over those studs, which gave it a nice flat surface, totally seat on there, and then put the valve cover on. And I have like a nut driver, just like a screwdriver that fits over these tall nuts that I use on these studs, and I just hand tightened it. So I'm not really using the gasket sealant anymore. Honestly, since I've been trying to use it, I've had worse leaks than ever before. So it's just installed dry, hand tight, put the gasket on the head first. We'll see if that works. I dumped about a half a quart of oil in it, and it didn't leak out like it was before. We fired it up and sounded pretty good. Just wanted to make sure the oil filter got filled and could check oil level. And was kind of surprised at how well it started cold. Pretty excited to try and put some miles on it. It still definitely needs a tune adjustment. Totally different sort of like flow with a different cam, different compression ratio, different exhaust header. So I'm hoping maybe tomorrow night, Friday night, we might take it out and try and put some miles on it. Saturday, April 12th, 2025. Today's the day. We're going to take it out to Supercar Saturday this morning. We actually took it out for about a 50 mile cruise yesterday. Just me and my wife, Ellen. We drove to Tasty Treat in Council Bluffs and then drove out to Trainer, Iowa and back. She was actually running the laptop for me, helping me dial in some of the fuel map. It's by no means perfect, but it at least makes it drivable so I can put some miles on it. The goal is to get about 500 or so miles on it and then take it to get dyno tuned. Got to start putting miles on it. Might as well take it to the season opener of Supercar Saturday out by Village Point next to Pitch Pizza and Berkshire Hathaway real estate offices. I don't want to jinx anything, so I won't call out any specifics yet. But otherwise, things have been fine. So let's get going.
tricky morning. I adjusted the idle air screws on the throttle bodies last night, which obviously threw off some of those lower RPM fuel map settings. So having to kind of fiddle with those. The off idle from a dead start, a little bit tricky. But we're just kind of stopping and making changes as we go. A little behind schedule, but it'll be fine. All right, we're out here at Cars and Coffee. It's windy, so I'm hoping this audio is okay. But the Volvo made it. Got some adjusting to do, but it made it, which is exciting. We got cars rolling in. It's still pretty early. I think we'll walk around here and see what all is showing up. There's several parking lots here. The main one's in front of this Berkshire building, but it goes on a couple parking lots down the way. There's even cars that show up and park on some of the side streets here. So let's walk around and see what's here. There's just so much stuff here, it's hard to catch everything. And a huge variety of stuff, which is always cool. They have all the actual supercars parked in front of the building, but you get stuff showing up, a gazillion Corvettes, classic cars, tuner cars, oddball cars. It's always a cool event coming here. Here is a great example. We've got a bagged Corvette. We've got a classic Cadillac limousine. We've got VIP style builds. We've got classic Hondas. Got everything. So yeah, there's just a ton of cool stuff. It's hard to capture it all, but at least give you a bit of an idea of the things that come out here. I think that's where we're gonna wrap it up on a high note. We'll do some more with the Volvo. We'll do kind of a nice feature video at some point, but for now, that's where we're gonna leave off. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.